Chapter 4. 9 Strategies to wow prospective buyers. The quest for finding the perfect home is both a very emotional and personal experience. I often correlate the exact moment a buyer walks through the door and feels it's the one to an excited bride-to-be when she steps into her perfect wedding gown the very first time. Something special happens, and from that moment on, all other possibilities pale in comparison. That magical feeling is the exact experience we're striving for with each and every prospective buyer who steps over the threshold. By paying special attention to some seemingly unimportant details when presenting their home to prospective buyers, sellers have a unique opportunity to set themselves apart and tap into the emotional aspect of the buying process. By focusing on both positive and potential perceived negatives during a buyer's viewing experience, the homeowners have an opportunity to position themselves as forerunners in the competition for an offer. In the end, buyers typically narrow their selections to 2 to 3 favorites, followed by second showings on each. Our first goal is to always be on the top 3 list, and of course the ultimate goal is to become the chosen one and receive an offer. Sellers who share their personal experiences about living in their homes have an opportunity to connect with prospective buyers on a more intimate level, which could ultimately end up being the tiebreaker when it comes down to the buyer's final selection. Here are a few of the ideas that clients have used to help clinch the deal after their second showing. 1. Write a personal letter to prospective buyers sharing all of your favorite elements about where you live. Some suggested topics include, WHO lives next door. Are your neighbors awesome? Do you like having a police officer at the end of the street? Is the doctor next door helpful when your son gets sick? Are there great babysitters nearby you trust with your children on date nights? Try to think of anything you'll genuinely miss when you move away. Buyers will love and appreciate it. Addressing challenges head-on. Address any obvious or potential challenges that you or your agent believes could hinder an offer. Was there something about the property when you were considering it that almost held you back, such as backing to a busy street? Has something obvious changed since you moved into the home that could worry a buyer? One example might be a developer building apartments on a vacant lot behind the property. Buyers will likely have some of the same concerns as the area homeowners did. Perhaps there were concerns regarding traffic and noise levels, but after the buildings were fully occupied, nearby neighbors were happy to find out it was very quiet. Or maybe parking lot lights are noticeably bright through the master bedroom window, but the developer has already approved a plan to install a 6-foot privacy fence and mature pine trees. Information addressing known concerns up front can be incredibly powerful. Even if a prospect loves a property, any perceived problems can result in it being crossed off the list. By confronting potential issues up front, the seller has an opportunity to stay in the game for a win. Neighborhood favorites. What are some of the benefits to living in your neighborhood or subdivision? Does it have a private park with new playground equipment? Are there community activities such as Easter egg hunts, 4th of July parades, bunco or book clubs, etc.? Odds are if you love participating in these activities, the new homeowners will as well. I've found most people, especially military and relocation families, are looking for a place to live with a sense of community. Location. Areas of interest include things such as proximity to schools and/or bus stops, shopping, favorite hangouts and/or restaurants, interstate access, traffic, drive times to main areas. Tip: don't overthink this, just be honest and genuine and write the letter as if you're describing your neighborhood to your mom or best friend. Authenticity is key. If you're not comfortable writing in letter form, a document bullet pointing all the same information still gets the same points across. 6. Special features. Notes placed throughout the home pointing out unique features, especially those that might easily be missed during a showing, will help the buyer remember differentiating highlights when narrowing their top pick list. Some examples include heated tile flooring, eave outlets, additional washer-dryer connections, laundry chutes, and multi-use ideas for flex rooms, playroom, office, workout. 7. Brag about your updates. Provide a detailed list of all updates completed on the property since the purchase date. The more detailed, the more powerful. For instance, let's say a buyer is searching for a property priced between $400,000 to $500,000. The first stop is a new construction home with all the bells and whistles and no finished square footage on the lower level. The second stop is a 10-year-old property with a finished lower-level advertising over $100K in improvements. Since many of the improvements in the new home are already rolled into the price and considered standard upgrades, it can be difficult for a buyer to calculate where $100K was spent in the older property. By providing a detailed improvement list, it will not only be more impactful, but also more believable. It can also serve a dual purpose in regards to similar aged competing homes. Not only does the list help justify why the improved property is priced substantially higher than the one listed next door, but also gives the prospective buyer a reality check that while they may pay less up front for the unimproved home, the reality is the updates will actually cost them double the price difference later. If you were the buyer, which approach would be more believable and justifiable? Simply stating remodeled kitchen with over $44K in updates, or the below breakdown of expenses? In 2012 kitchen remodel, hickory flooring $6,000, maple cabinet reface $9,000, cabinet hardware $600, granite countertops and sink $7,500, tile backsplash $1,400, solid maple pantry door $900, maple baseboards $700, lighting, sink, island, dining area $2,000, paint, walls, ceiling, pantry $750, custom window treatments $1,650, GE profile stainless steel appliances $7,600, approximate total cost $44,100. I suggest listing improvements by year, room and specific details if possible, as seen above, then totaling each section, year, then grand total for all as the final number. Most of our clients, myself included, are usually shocked at the actual amount invested once this task has been completed. Tip: detailed improvement lists are also very helpful during the appraisal process. 8. Appeal to their senses. Smell. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that feeling that comes over you the moment you open Grandma's front door and are greeted by the scent of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies wafting from the kitchen. No matter what our age, there's an unmistakable feeling of home that certain scents bring us, so it only makes sense that a home that smells good will leave a positive impression. Quick baking tricks: keep slice and bake pre-cut cookies or tubes of bread found in the refrigerated section of the grocery store in the frig, then pop them into the oven while you prep for the showing. Tip: encourage staying power. Plate the baked items and set them out on the kitchen counter with some napkins, bottled water, and a note inviting the buyers to help themselves. Hopefully they'll sit at the kitchen table to discuss all the things they love about your home while they nibble on the cookies. Getting a prospective buyer to sit down, relax and enjoy the space for a few minutes can help in them beginning to envision living there. Air fresheners plug-ins are an easy, popular way to make the house smell great as well. But be cautious not to overdo it. Too many plug-ins, or setting the strength too high, can backfire, leading buyers to assume you're trying to disguise an unpleasant odor, usually assumed to be an offensive pet odor. Certain non-food related scents, or those that are very strong, can also cause instant migraines in those who are sensitive, thus resulting in a very short viewing. For the reasons listed above, I also highly recommend sticking to either vanilla or cinnamon scents only. Both tend to evoke a memory of baking, which in turn can bring back the subconscious feeling of home we're aiming for. I also suggest using only one plug-in per level of the home and that they be placed towards the center of an open room. I've found anything placed immediately at the entrance can seem overpowering when the front door is opened and can often cause buyer suspicion of odor masking, especially true in vacant properties. Sight impressions start at the curb, so park in front of your home and walk slowly up the driveway with roaming eyes. Next, stand on your front porch for 30 to 60 seconds. This is about how long it will take the real estate agent to open the key box and unlock the door. What did you see? What impression would your home offer you if it was the first time you'd laid eyes on it? Since most of us in the Midwest with garages don't often use our own front porch, it's commonly overlooked, but one of the most important areas. Are the porch railings freshly painted or chipping with rust? Is the front door faded and cracked? Is the doorbell missing the push button? Is there an unfriendly "no soliciting" sign on the window? The front porch entry should reflect what's inside and be given the same attention to detail. Windows should sparkle, cobwebs removed, lights bright and bugless, a welcoming doormat and wreath, flowers, etc. Begin the wow process at the driveway. To paint, or not to paint? Although paint is one of the least expensive ways to freshen and modernize a property, it also tends to be the most deliberated and stressed over pre-list improvement. The most frequent question is based around the fear that their efforts will backfire. What if I choose a color the buyers hate? This concern is usually followed up with one or both of these thoughts: I'll just paint everything white so I don't have to worry about it, or, why can't we just offer a paint allowance to the buyer so they can choose the color they want and I don't have to mess with it? First, think of how it feels when you walk into a hospital with stark white walls. Then think of how it feels to walk into a newer, more modern hospital with warm colors on the walls. Which space feels more comfortable and relaxing? Buyers naturally gravitate towards warm, neutral colors like shades of tans, golds, and warm-toned grays. Tip: stagers will help select a paint color that's not only popular, appealing to the mass, but also that's complementary to existing flooring, woodwork and decor in the home. Light and bright: buyers like sunshine and light. Change all of your light bulbs to the brightest wattage your fixtures can handle and turn every single one of them on before a showing, if possible. It's also important to open all blinds, shades, curtains and remove or trim back anything on the exterior blocking light, especially in basements. To fix or not to fix? Walk through some open houses and new construction in your price range. Notice how nicely staged and clean they are. No nicks or gouges in the baseboards, woodwork is clean and shiny, the closets are organized. Buyers will be looking at these homes before they come inside yours. So if you question whether or not you should fix, paint, or replace something, the answer is yes. Buyers will notice. Sound: have you ever wondered why department and grocery stores play background music? The tunes are normally upbeat, well-known hits you catch yourself singing along to as you happily fill your cart. On the flip side, we normally hear relaxing types of music during a massage or while sitting in the dental chair because their intent is to promote the opposite effect of the retailer. They want their clients to unwind, relax and be comfortable. So what kind of background music do you think would be most effective for your target audience? Upbeat, fast-paced music or something that lends to taking your shoes off after work and plopping down on the sofa by the fire? My favorite selections are the latter. For this reason, soft jazz or modern country music are two of my favorite suggested genres. 9. Photos. That old saying, "A picture speaks 1,000 words," can sometimes be boldly misinforming in the real estate world, but not the way we're going to utilize them. Photos are a great way to share stories the buyer can see or visualize in the moment. Here are a few powerful ideas. Post an 8x10 photo of the gorgeous sunset or deer grazing in the backyard right on the sliding glass door leading to the deck so the buyer can see them at that moment. Display photos of the landscaping and foliage during each season. Give the buyer a glimpse of the colorful tulips that will appear in the spring, the perennial prairie grasses, hostas, and roses that surround the front porch, the deck with all of the color furniture out, fireplace lit and pool top open, the stunning orange, red, and yellow leaves that blanket the woods behind the house in the fall. Tip: display before and after photos of home remodeling projects. These photos are also effective to include with the detailed improvement list mentioned above.